Welcome back to part 2 of our video review on the Tooliom TL-250M MIG Welder. Now, if you haven't watched part 1 yet, be sure and check that out. I'll put a link to it. That's going to be the unboxing and show you what all it's got with it. In this video, we're going to do some welding on some mild steel plate. And then after this video, we're going to the next one, we're going to do some aluminum welding. We're going to set it up to use for that. That's what makes this unit special compared to the other one that we did about a year ago, the TL-200M, which is the little smaller unit, a little less amperage, a little less features, but still a fantastic unit. I've really enjoyed using it this past year. If you want to see the review to that, check that out on my channel. And anyway, we're going to go get right to it. But before I do, a little disclaimer, I screw up right in the beginning of this video and I messed up on my settings. I chose the wrong wire size on the menu, chose the wrong gas on the menu. I totally screwed it up, but I went ahead and left it in here because I thought you may be a little good to see how this thing works when you just totally screw it up. It actually still got the job done, not optimum, but it does. But it also shows how much those buttons really do. Like when I first seen them, I figured, you look at all these old MIG welders that you use for years and they don't have any settings on them for asking you what your wire size is or what kind of gas you're using. It's just two knobs on it and it goes. So how much could those settings really change? What does it change? I have no idea, but it does make a huge difference. So be sure and check it out. I'm going to mess it up first. We're going to go back and do it without it, and it cleans it up, and you'll see the difference of just how much those little settings must mean. And that just shows you how intelligent these newer welders are, especially at this price range. Now this thing is $400 on Amazon. The old one that I did a review on, it was like $250. And honestly, that thing is good for anybody. But this new one is $400 regular price. It actually is on sale right now on Amazon when I got mine for $40 off. So it was $360 delivered to the door. You can't beat that. If it does a good job, we're going to find out next. Check it out. Okay, let's get all set up here. Try this thing out. Now, in preparation for this here video, I went ahead and cut out some coupons that we use. Now that's a Subway coupon or something there. The metal coupons. Here we go. All right. Got some various thicknesses. I got some nice old thick stuff here. That's some 1/4 inch. And here we have some 3/16. So we're gonna start out with some 3/16 here. Then we'll try some 1/4 out on it. I know you guys want to see it working on some thick stuff since we supposedly got 250 amps. I know there was some people had some comments on the other welder about they doubted that it had the amperage output that it claimed because of the high settings that it asked for the size, for the thickness of the metal that I was welding on. In which that may be true. I'm not really sure, but it does. Usually their settings are pretty daggum hot for what you're doing. You really got to watch what you're doing and move fast. The wire speed is really fast, but it seems to work fine. So this thing here, it has everything set up to 280 thousandths, so a little over 1/4 inch stuff. So you got different settings. This thing, because the other welder just has the synergy settings. This one, it lets you choose. So you can actually flip it between manual MIG and synergy MIG. The other one's just synergy. So if you don't like the parameters they give you, you can actually adjust it on this one. You can't do that on the 200. That's one of the major differences. So in the chart, it gives you both. And so instead of giving you the synergy amp setting, it's going to give you the wire speed and voltage. So we go over here and look at the 30 up in the synergy section. Here we go. We are 30. Talking about 177 amps if it was 196, 150 if it was 157. So I'm going to say we're probably going to be, so let's try like 165. That's what we're going to be on for this. So going up to 165 on our setting. We're going to leave it on normal. we'll give that a zing there and see how she does. Put on my new gloves I just got. These things are, I've had these for a little while, so they're in good shape. Now I actually have some high-dollar helmets, but this one is the one that I usually use. I put this on the back, keep light from going in the back and getting in the front of my lens because I already can't see a lick. But this thing is just like $100 Eastwood unit, and I've always kind of liked it better than anything else I've ever had. I don't know why, but it's the only thing I don't like about it is it's a little big. Kind of bulky. When you're in a tight space, it's kind of hard to squeeze it in there. But other than that, it really works nice, and it's see good in it, so I use it a lot. So here we go. Let's tack this bad boy up. I don't know why, but that kind of didn't sound too hot. But we're 165. We'll give it a shot to see what it is. That should be about where it's at. I mean, it looks fine, but it's just saying that sputtering don't sound the greatest. Let me get in here and adjust the. Let's go in here and adjust the. All right, they got it on -10 on the inductance. So let's move that. It don't use inductance numbers. It uses -10 to +10. Let's go on up here and get it in the middle. Maybe that'll see how that makes it a little smoother there. Clean that up, and there we have it. It really wetted in good. It did not have any crown at all. It's all right. If I could weld a little better, it'd be all right. But I'm can't see good enough to keep it straight because, like I said, don't have no depth perception, and I've only got one good eyeball, and it's not that great. So, anyway, I think that's pretty much all we need to see for this thing. I mean, that's for 3/16. She's getting the job done there. And so let's go ahead and move up to some really thick stuff, or thicker stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and get this 1/4 inch stuff going here. I ain't got too much of it, so give it a shot. All right, let's see where we're gonna be with this before I get started. All right, 1/4 inch. They're giving us 280. 236 is 200, and 280 is 250, so we should be about 225-ish. So let's give that a shot. We're gonna go up to 225. All right, we'll leave everything else the same. What an inch. All right, it sounded like absolute garbage, but it came out good. So I don't know what to say about that. That sounded Sounded like it was. Sounded like me after some Taco Bell. But let's take a look here. You can see, man, it wetted in really good. Look at that. It actually, I think it may have been too hot. It really made it actually pull back a little bit on the micro adjustment here. Let's get it back up to 0. Let's actually pull it. Yeah, let's get it back to, let's get it a little under 0 there, because she was really smoking hot there. I think it was trying to work its way back up the wire. All right, let's clean it up and take a look and see what it looks like with all of the soot all over it. I think I may be running out of gas, honestly. It's almost like I don't have enough gas coverage right now, and it very well could be, because I've had this tank for quite some time. But let me clean that up for you. So there we are. The light on it there so we can see. Yeah, so how often do you weld 3/4 inch anything? Had this little puck here I cut in half, give it a little chamfer there. We're gonna go ahead and let that thing eat and just see what it does, because I know that this is way underpowered for this. And if this is the kind of thing you need to weld, if you're building skyscrapers or whatever, you probably need a different welder than a $400 Tooliom off of Amazon. But you know, hey, if you ever get a situation where you got to fix something around the house, or you work on a farm or something, you got a piece of farm implement that uses some big heavy metal that you need to fix, well, it'd be good to know if you can do it or not. So let's give it a shot and see what it does. Now we know that there is no setting for no 3/4 inch stuff on this in our book. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna give it all it's got. Give it the full 250. We're gonna crank up this thing high. We're gonna just let her eat and see what it does. There it goes. That thing is hot. That thing was so hot I could feel it through my gloves, like coming off the metal. Still lots of soot. I'm sure I'm running out of gas, but it laid down 100% flat at that 250 amp synergy setting. It is in there. Okay, let's take a look at the unit itself. By the way, these lights are blinking in right now because of the frame rate of the camera / cell phone, and that's LED lighting. In real life, those are not blinking. So, but anyway, let's take a look here. The things that were different between the two. Like I said before, this one is synergy only. You do not get to adjust voltage other than just up and down a couple of points. Like with this one here, you actually see what it actually is. It can go -3, +3 from the machine's synergy settings, which is its calculation on what you supposed to need according to the Tooliom machine. And then you just got your amperage on this. So we can go all the way down to 55 amps, as low as it's going, and it can go all the way up to 250 amps. Then we have our settings here. You got manual MIG. When you go up to manual MIG, that's MMA, not the fighting but the stick welding. And then we got TIG, that's a lift TIG. It does not have high frequency start. Don't get too excited. And then, but in manual MIG, you actually have voltage setting from 10 to 26. And then you got wire speed from 2 to 15. So then you've got here, you pick your, you know what? I had this thing on CO2 the whole time. Whoops. Anyway, who knows? Would have did different if I'd have used the correct setting. Pretty sure should have been on that one. So basically everything I just did, who knows, that could have been totally off. I'm gonna weld another piece in the right setting just to make sure. But anyway, that's where you're supposed to be if you've got a mixed gas like 80-20 or 75-25 MIG gas. I had it on straight CO2 this whole time. Then you got your flux core setting and your aluminum setting. And aluminum, you need to be straight argon. Then you go over here and you got your wire size. I had it, and I had it on 35. Should have been on 30. I had everything screwed up. That's just what I'm saying. This thing you actually still does pretty good even when you really screw up. So this should have been on 0.8 millimeter or 30 thousandths wire. I had it on the wrong wire too. All right, then we got 2T, 4T, and the synergy setting. Once again, this thing's skipping 4T just like the other one. I don't know why that is. Probably just something I'm not doing right. But 4T, if you recall from the other video, it just means you squeeze the trigger, and then when you let off, the welder starts. You just let it go. If you have a mechanical fixture where the product goes around and the MIG gun just sits there. Kind of like, for instance, I was in a place one time where they were putting bead locks on wheels, and they had that set up. They had it like on a rotator, and they clamped up the bead lock ring, and then the MIG torch was actually set right on it. They just hit the go button, and the thing rotated, and it welded it, ran the weld. And of course, it doesn't wiggle and jiggle like somebody's hand and get it out of line, so it's perfect. But anyway, I would never use that in a million years, and I can't imagine most people ever using that because they don't have stuff to do that with. If you're using a fixture and you're using a $400 or $250 welder, then you really got your priorities mixed up. But anyway, then you've got the synergy setting. You go down here, and of course we had it on +5 towards the end there because it kind of felt good to me. But that's what all that stuff does. So anyway, let's go ahead and try this thing on the correct settings and see how it does. How about that? All right, now we're on mag, and we're on the 030 wire. Still on, I got it on manual MIG. We're gonna put it on synergy MIG again. We're gonna go back up. We're gonna go like +1 on that. And we're gonna go to 165 like we did before. All right. So let's see what we can do now. If it makes any difference at all. Maybe it won't be so sooted. Probably why it was adjusted for CO2. We weren't using CO2. My bad. I get in a hurry sometimes and just kind of forget to do stuff. Screw up a little bit. At the correct settings. Yeah, definitely cleaner. Let's try giving it a little more heat. Oh yeah, that's way better. Alright. Got it close to the dial in there. See, it's a lot cleaner, not as sooted up as the old stuff. Actually, it's way better. Now we're cooking with gas. Look at that. That changed everything. Well, I think we found our setting here. All right, some 1/4 inch here. All right, go back to 225. Lighter there. Good. Let's get her done here. Take the run at the other side. Let's go to +3. Seems we're using thicker metal now. I'll wet it out though. Okay. All right. 1/4 inch. And that is 1/4 inch with it +3 on the inductance. And this is at -3 on the inductance. They don't look a ton different, honestly. They sounded different a little, but other than that, they're not dissimilar. Anyway, needless to say, I think it does good on 1/4 inch type stuff. Probably wouldn't go any bigger than that unless you really chamfer it a lot. I would, if anything, I mean, honestly, if you were butt welding this, I would probably chamfer it at least half the thickness of the metal. And anything bigger than this, you should chamfer the crap out of it and make a couple passes on it, because I honestly just don't think it has enough power to do anything much thicker than this. This is pretty much the limit of it. So according to the chart, it goes to 280, which is slightly bigger than this. I'm sure it would handle that, but anything much more than that, I would probably, if you had to do it on a regular basis, I would get a bigger welder. Or if you, on occasion, having to do it, just chamfer it really good, you should be okay. Anyway, that's that. All right, that concludes part 2 of our series on the Tooliom TL-250M MIG welder. Part 3 coming up next. We're going to convert this thing over to run some aluminum. Going to put in this here graphene liner in our torch lead. We're going to put the U-shaped drive rolls in and switch it over to argon gas, get everything set up and ready to use. We could take this time to discuss something that's really a serious subject. I don't want to make light of it, and that's safety. You may have seen the condition of my welding gloves. I know it probably breaks your heart to see this, and you wonder, is this guy ever going to be able to get a new pair of gloves? The answer is, maybe not. The economy's horrible. It's just, gas prices are through the roof, groceries are high, and I eat a lot. And I just really need your help. I'm not asking for money. I'm not even asking you to buy me a pair of gloves. What I am asking is that you just subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, click the notification bell so you'll know when I put out a new video. You can watch it too. Heck, make a comment. Even if it's a horrible comment. Go ahead. That helps me out. Also, I will put a link to the Tooliom 250M MIG welder that we just reviewed. And it'll be a link straight to Amazon. And if you want to go look at that welder and purchase it, be sure to click my link to do so. That'll help me out. And I would appreciate it. So maybe one day, maybe not in the too far away future,
I could buy a pair of welding gloves. My hands would sure appreciate it. Thank you. Chuck out.